Right. Well, Carol's joining us. She is from Manchester Resource Center, and she's going to tell us about her program there in Manchester. You're ready.
Thank you. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right. So I am Carol Watring with the Community Resource Center in Manchester. Also on the line is Melissa Anderson Licavoli, our Assistant Director. Um, the Community Resource Center, or CRC as we call it, is a community-based human services organization that addresses food and financial security in Western Washtenaw County. We're located in the city of Manchester, and our service area is Manchester and the four surrounding townships of Bridgewater, Freedom, Manchester, and Senior, or Sharon. I'm clicking my OK here. Okay. So we're located within the Riverside Intermediate School. So if an announcement comes on the air, sometimes we get those. It's a live school. So, there are kids here from third to sixth grade. So you never know what's going to come up in the school, but we're happy to be here. Um, the Community Resource Center has been around for more than 35 years. We were founded in 1987 in response to a community crisis where a local manufacturing plant closed abruptly, leaving many families struggling. Initially, getting people back to work was the priority that CRC focused on, and we provided services like applications and resume writing. But as that continued, volunteers found that there were much more urgent needs that needed to be taken care of, things like food and paying bills. So today, our mission is to serve the Manchester area continues by connecting people to resources that improve their lives. We're a small, oops, I went way ahead there. All right. So, so we're a small organization. We've got two full-time staff people, along with 30 volunteers or so, and that is sometimes a strength for us as well because it forces us to be creative to meet the needs of our neighbors. These are just a few of our wonderful volunteers who are committed to creating a welcoming, safe environment for our neighbors. And this slide just shows some of the programs that we offer at the Community Resource Center. All of our programs are focused on improving food and financial security of individuals and families. These include a food pantry, rural grocery delivery options, a weekend kids meal program, emergency funding assistance to prevent eviction or utility shutoff, My Bridges navigation, and Vita Scan and Go tax prep services. The first program I'm going to talk about is our food pantry. It's probably what we're best known for, and it's how most families first come to us. Their initial point of entry is through the food pantry. We have an open choice food pantry, which offers in-person shopping by appointment or by placing an order and scheduling a pickup time. It's important to us that food is as accessible to our community as possible. That's why we have different ways to shop. It's also why last year we modified our hours so that one night a week we are open until 7 p.m. That's on Tuesday evenings. We're open 12 to 7 p.m. It's also why we offer a delivery of groceries to our neighbors who can't make it to the food pantry, either for transportation reasons or mobility reasons. We're willing to deliver. As you can see in the picture here, we carry a healthy selection of meat, dairy, produce, and shelf-stable items. We also carry items that meet our neighbors' nutritional needs. So here, Francisca is stocking some nutritional drinks. We also have gluten-free or low or no sugar section in our food pantry. I also just want to add right here that although our service area is Manchester and the four surrounding townships, we never turn anybody away who needs food. Anyone can come to our food pantry and receive USDA food, and that's food that we receive from food gatherers. And we do get people coming from beyond our service area. So we see folks from Chelsea, see folks from Clinton quite often, Brooklyn area. We also do sometimes get people from Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, believe it or not. This slide shows some of the impact that Community Resource Center has had in 2025. So we had 887 visits to our food pantry. That represents that serve more than 1,400 people. Just wanted to show you this slide before I go on, just to emphasize the demand in food that we've seen at the Community Resource Center pantry over the last few years. We started seeing that increase in 2023, as many other food pantries did. And that was when the COVID-related food assistance ended. And now the need has continued to grow each year since. So in 2023, when I started, we had 577 visits that year. And for 2025, 887. So that's more than a 50% increase over those last 2 years. So I'm going to go back to our impact. I also wanted to talk about our weekend kids meal program. We partner with the Manchester Community Schools to provide weekend meal kits to students who face food insecurity when not in school. We've seen a 60% increase in this program since 2023, and we're really grateful for the organizations that sponsor it, including the Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan Agency Charitable Fund. They have a Feeding the Future fund that we've received the last couple of years. Also, our local Manchester and Lions and Mason clubs have been very supportive, as has the whole community. If wherever we put out a need for food for the kids meal program, our community steps up for that. Also on this slide is our impact with the VITA program, that's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. We partner with United Way and the Accounting Aid Society to provide this program, which does free tax returns for people. So we're a scan and go site. So people can come here with their documents and we upload those and their taxes are prepared off-site, but people don't need to leave Manchester to get their taxes done. Last year, we did 50 returns, which brought in more than $95,000 in refunds. This year, we've done 62 tax returns. I don't have the final tally yet for how much that is, but I'm sure we've broken that $100,000 dollar amount. All right, just a couple pictures from our programs. The picture on the left is our volunteer Jody. She packs the weekend kids meal kits every week during the school year. And the picture on the right is Della and Francisca at our local farmers market. Each week we have a table. So this is May through October. We have a table at the Manchester Farmers Market. Here, our volunteers provide outreach to the community, provide information about CRC as well as other community resources. And they also administer our Wooden Nickels program. So Wooden Nickels is a program that makes it possible for CRC clients to receive up to $40 per month in wooden nickel tokens that they can spend at the local farmers market on fresh local produce, also eggs and honey. Our clients love the program. It's really well received. Happy to say that we just received word that we're going to be getting some funding through Chelsea Hospital, Trinity Health Chelsea Hospital community gift. So we're thankful for that. Our farmers also really like this program because obviously we're buying their produce and we're supporting them in Manchester. And then the final program, this is a food program. I hope that people have heard of the Manchester Chicken Broil. It's an iconic event in Manchester. I think our population explodes for that weekend when we have it. So it's a program, or it's a event where the community all comes together and puts on a fantastic cookout, basically a chicken broil. But the cost of the ticket was out of reach for many of our families. So in 2023, we were able to use some grant money, and we were able to offer a ticket to every person in the household was able to go to that wanted to could go to the chicken broil. So it's very important. It was not only was it a nutritional meal, it's a good healthy meal, but also it's participating in that community event. And we were able to continue it last year as well, and we're looking forward to doing that again this year. So I'm going to switch gears a bit. I've given you a brief overview of our programs at the Community Resource Center. Um, Now I'm going to talk about rural poverty. We are a rural area. There's just over 2,000 people living in the city of Manchester, and when we include the surrounding townships, there's just under 10,000 people living in our area. Um, our service area is roughly 140 square miles of rural Washtenaw County. We're about 20 miles from Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, where most of the major resources and services are located in Washtenaw. For someone without reliable transportation, that distance can be the difference between getting help and going without. That spread of 140 miles is also why rural poverty is so invisible. It doesn't cluster into a neighborhood where you can point to. It's scattered across farms, back roads, and small subdivisions. So a family in need might be your neighbor and you'd never know it. And this really hit home for me just a couple months ago, where somebody that lives on my road, I live on a 2 mile stretch of road in this area, and one of my neighbors showed up, and I didn't know that they were a person in need until they showed up here. That invisibility also ties into the culture of self-reliance. People here are proud, and asking for help can feel shameful, especially in a town where a lot of people know everyone. So we work hard to make the Community Resource Center a place where people can feel dignity and not shame. And then there's practical barriers that pile on in our area. So we don't have reliable public transit. Our broadband is spotty at best. I know I just got a notice that my internet is unstable at the moment, so hopefully this is coming through okay. The jobs in our area tend to be seasonal and low paying. We don't have a pharmacy, we don't have an urgent care. So when something goes wrong, there aren't many places to turn. That's the context of for everything that the Community Resource Center does. We are here where the need is real, but often unseen, so people don't have to face it alone. So everything on this slide is a direct response to what we've just talked about. A few things to highlight. With the grocery delivery, we've eliminated that transportation barrier that may prevent someone from accessing food. The My Bridges navigation can be a surprise for people. There are residents in our area who are receiving either SNAP benefits or Medicaid benefits that they didn't know existed, or they didn't know how to access it. But they're receiving them simply because they've had someone sitting with them to help navigate that system. And the thread running through all of these programs is that we're meeting people where they are geographically, emotionally, and practically. And these are some of the organizations and neighbors that we are grateful to work alongside. Each one shares a commitment to making sure people in our community have what they need. I've mentioned Food Gatherers and Chelsea Hospital. We're all our United Way and Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation also support our food pantry. And clearly our local churches, civic and school clubs and businesses. In the fall and winter time, there are many, many food drives that happen in our area. So that's really helpful. I also want to highlight, we have a really unique communication tool with the Manchester Mirror. This is a once a week free newspaper. It's a hard copy as well as an online, and it's just a great tool for us to communicate our needs as well as our accomplishments. And they're really great about publishing anything related to Manchester. So, and they're also a 501c3 nonprofit. So I think that's a really unique setup that we have here. And then I wanted to include this picture because I love I like the picture. It's also exemplifies our partnerships. So recently, well, a couple months ago, the Manchester Masons purchased 40 boxes of cookies from the local Girl Scout troop, our Manchester local Girl Scout troop. Uh, and these were then donated to the Community Resource Center. So it was a great way for uh, to get the kids some education about what a food pantry is, but also just exemplifies that coming together of organizations that happens a lot here in Manchester. The next month, the Masons also purchased popcorn from the Boy Scouts, so which was then donated to the Community Resource Center. So we're very grateful for that as well. So that is basically it for the presentation. I just want to challenge you when you think about Washtenaw County, it's not just the urban centers, it's also the farmhouses and the small towns where people are working hard and are still struggling. The challenge of food security, poverty, and access to services doesn't stop at Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti. We're here, we're part of Washtenaw County. So thank you so much for this opportunity. If we have Do we still have a little bit of time, Stacy? We had a little video to show. I have no idea how much time I took there, but
Yeah, yeah, no, that was like 15 minutes. Do you want to put the video? We can do
yeah,
that.
Melissa, can I stop sharing and Melissa can share then?
Yep, I
Yeah,
am
and
all
so
set.
I just want to preface this. The Washtenaw County Health Department has an access to food work group that I've been working on for the last year and a half or 2 years. And we're doing short videos of food pantries. And the intent is to get these out to improve access to food pantries so that maybe if somebody watches one of these short videos about what it's like to go to a food pantry or what it's going to look like, what to expect, that might decrease some of the stigma and some of the fear of coming to a food pantry to begin with. So we're just starting this process. We'll show you ours so you can kind of see what we do here. But also if you're interested in having your food pantry videoed. The communication person from Food Gatherers is the one who's doing the videos, but you could contact me and I can put you in contact. So take it away, Melissa.
I think I sent a share request over. That is mine. I don't know how the audio is going to come across, so bear with me, but I can include the link after.
Not hearing the volume on are others hearing the volume? Like just me? Or the audio on it? Oh, maybe
Yeah, we're not hearing it.
looks like it's muted, maybe. I see it at the
Yep,
top.
I see it. Yep. All right, let me reload it.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not,
Sorry, Melissa, we're not hearing it.
yeah, that hearing.
No, okay. All right. How about if I just include the link to our
That's a good idea.
page? Okay.
You can get the gist. It's showing our intake process and then going into the food pantry. So that's all right. Thanks for trying.
Okay.
Here it is.
Um, so I see both of you, Carol and Melissa, are on mute. Are we done? Are we wrapping up the presentation?
Yep, that was it.
Okay, that
Yep,
was
thank you. Sorry.
fantastic. Yep, that was fantastic. And so now we just want to open it up for questions. Please, anybody want to unmute and ask a question or put it in the chat? I want to point out while we're waiting for that, or waiting for maybe some possible questions. I love, love, love the idea of putting together this video of what to expect when you go um, into spaces. Because I know for me personally, that is something like if I want to know just to alleviate some unknowns and just to kind of know. And
Yeah.
so I thought it was a fantastic idea. And yeah, I hope that that really has good results for people
Yeah,
going
and
in.
we've had that feedback from others, so it's been
Mhm.
that's been sort of eye-opening. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but a little bit of nervousness that I know I can feel when I'm just going into something new and the unknown. So I think that's fantastic. And I'm also really impressed in how much work you all are doing for such a small community that and all of the resources that you have. And they're like 92,000 in taxes and tax returns. Like
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Like so all of the work that it's all coming out of your small center, if I can say small,
Yeah.
relatively small, and your community, yeah, hats off. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Any questions from others? Okay. Um, well, I have your slides, and so I will provide these slides to our network. They'll also be posted on our website. And if anyone has questions for Carol and her community, you can find her information on the website, on our Barry Buster website, and then probably your Manchester website, your
Yeah.
your resource center's website. Okay, so thank you. Our next is Kate and Karen from um, the Humane Society.
Yes, let me see if I can get this pulled up.
Great, thank you.
You see that?
I think it's coming up. It needs another minute. There it is. Now we can see it.
Okay, great. And everyone can hear me?
Yes. Well, I can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, yeah, we are here from the Friends for Life program at the Humane Society of Huron Valley. Um, so my name is Kate Holcomb. I'm a social worker and I'm the Friends for Life coordinator at HSHV. And then I've been there for about a year now, and that's my cat Kiwi. You can see right there. She's a cutie pie. And then Karen, if you're there, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Karen Patterson. I'm the Vice President of Volunteers in Humane Education here at the Humane Society. And I've been here for this year is 15 years. So it's gone by very quickly though. And the doggy in my picture is one of the most adorable little pups we've met at one of our free vaccine clinics out in the community, which we will tell you about. So thanks for having us today.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, so a little background about the Humane Society of Huron Valley. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and we're actually not affiliated with any other humane societies. So I know there's a couple other in the area that you might be familiar with, but we are our own organization. And we provide support for all of Washtenaw County and then also Plymouth and Northville. And then our shelter is located near Dixboro in North Ann Arbor. And then we also have our Tiny Lions Lounge and Adoption Center, which is off of Jackson and Zeeb Road in West Ann Arbor, if anyone's familiar. So our mission is to support the loving, responsible care of all animals in our community. And we do that through adoptions. We have our own full service veterinary clinic, a cruelty and rescue team. We do a lot of people-focused support, especially with our Friends for Life program. And then we have humane education and advocacy. So at Friends for Life, we know that providing basic care for our beloved pets can sometimes be challenging, whether that's due to health concerns, transportation issues, or financial difficulty, or whatever it might be. So we work to preserve, improve, and protect those relationships with our companion animals through things like access to veterinary care, our Bountiful Bowls pet food support, short-term emergency housing, in-home pet support, and then we have some great community programs that promote access to animals. And I'm going to talk about each of these a little bit more. So for our veterinary care support, unexpected vet bills can often be the reason that someone feels they might have to surrender their pet. So to mitigate that, we provide access to vet care through supplemental financial support for sick exams and diagnostics. We can provide temporary support with medication fees. And then we also partner with Lifeline Urgent Care in Ypsilanti, which is relatively new. And then it is support through our Friends for Life program is not guaranteed, and it is meant to be temporary support. So unfortunately, we can't support the lifelong care of someone's pet, but it is meant to be there for sick exams and things like that that pop up instead of wellness specifically. But as for wellness care, we have some great options. We do our low-cost vaccine clinics, which are once or twice a month. And then we have free vaccine clinics, which we do twice a year out in the community. So for our in-home pet support, this is our volunteer-led support service. So we can go to private homes, supportive housing, residential communities, and we can help with dog and cat care for things like dog walking, which we can do 1 to 3 times a week for a maximum of 8 weeks. And then we can do cat care support for things like litter box scooping, and that we can do once a day for up to 7 days. I mean, we have a really great team of volunteers that help us out with all of these programs. They're fantastic. We also have our Bountiful Bowls Pet Food Pantry. So this is our supplemental food support for dogs and cats, and we can give out dry food and sometimes litter when we have it available. And then this is provided once a month for up to 6 months, and then we have extensions available based on need. And it's a quick and easy online application, and it's on our website. And then we have some really great community partnerships in addition to the food that we give out on site at HSHV. So we also work with some well-known organizations in the community to get supplies to those who need them, such as Meals on Wheels for Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, Manchester Family Services, and Avalon Housing. So for our community programs, we know that not everyone is able to get to our shelter to see the animals and visit and things like that. So we bring some of the joy of animals to those in the community too, through some of our programs like HSHV Bingo, where we come play bingo and we have some fun prizes, and we can do a visit with a therapy dog or a shelter dog. Rescue Tales, which we come with some stories of animals rescued by HSHV. And then there's a fun little arts and crafts activity where we make kettle cards for the adoptable animals and then bring them back to the shelter and put them up to help catch people's eyes. We have our Treasured Tales program. This includes a visit with a certified therapy dog, and this is kind of an opportunity for people to share their memories of their pets and things like that. And then we have some cool on-site programs. We have our free senior drop-in hours. We do coffee and cats at our Tiny Lions Cat Cafe. And then we also do tours of our shelter to, learn about how things work there and see the animals and stuff like that. And then our Safe Harbor program is the last thing I'm going to talk about. So this is for emergencies that impact housing or someone's ability to care for their companion animal. And we can at times provide harbor in shelter or in foster homes. Any advance notice we can get for this is super helpful. It's not guaranteed as it is based on our space and availability of fosters and things like that. But some situations that might require a safe harbor would be like a surgery or a medical procedure or rehabilitation or something like that. And so we can do the safe harbor for up to 2 weeks. And we do require a spay or neuter for that. And at the same time, we can also provide basic vet care or vaccines if necessary. And then we have our contact info for that on the bottom there. And then this is our contact info here. And we wanted to leave some time for questions too, if anyone has any. I can probably stop sharing this as well.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I appreciate all the programs that are available. Are there any questions that anyone wants to ask? You can unmute or put it in the chat.
I had a question. I know, thank you for partnering with Manchester Family Services. I know we refer people to them. I had a question. I didn't realize that there was a time limit on it. So how many extensions can people get on that? You said once a month for 6 months with possible extensions. Could-
Yeah. Yeah, Karen, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, we don't have a time limit at all, really. It's
Okay,
just, it's set up to be a supplemental kind of temporary support program. So
gotcha.
we're always evaluating, extensions and mostly we just want people to be able to provide for their animals. So, but we do run into often where families, want to acquire new animals, thinking that we will be able to support them lifelong with food. So we want to make sure everyone has kind of a care plan for their animals,
Makes
which
sense.
is why it's kind of set up that way too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I see the question about the Washtenaw County participating in the free vaccine clinics. So we generally say that it is designed for Washtenaw County residents, but we certainly don't check any eligibility. So I would say yes and no. And I'll say I can add to the biggest question I think we get a lot is the safe harbor program. Um, the more advanced notice we have, the more likely we may be able to help a client. We run into a lot of people who maybe knew very last minute that they, were going to have surgery. And sometimes medical things come up very last minute, but if we could get a couple of weeks notice even, that can typically help. So if you know of any clients who might need that support, having them reach out to us immediately is really, really helpful. I apologize for the noise in the background.
There's a couple comments. Do you see that? Lori, she said that she has a client who participates in this program and it really enriches her life. And then Kevin,
Great.
I don't have a question, but just want to say our family dog is from the Love Train and we love HSHV.
Aw,
That's great
thank
to
you for
hear. Yes.
adopting. Yeah.
Thank you.
My household and my people, my family, we've adopted 4 cats from you guys.
I love
That's
that.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, I think I think we're good. Okay. Well, thank you, Karen and Kate, for the presentation. Always really good information to know what our resources are in the community.
Thank you so much
And
for having
thank you.
us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I want to take this time. Um, if anybody else has anything they want to announce, feel free to unmute. You can put in anything in the chat too. But if anything, you have a program that's going on, an event that you want to share with us all, please, now's a good time.
So I wondered if I could actually pose a question to the group. So we had some cases recently after the storms, and people's power getting knocked out, of senior clients who rely on medical equipment, and including like to breathe, and whose power was out, and we're having to cope with that. Uh, is anybody familiar with is there a way, like, does DTE make a policy of like prioritizing individuals in these situations? I mean, we couldn't really find anything about it. I know that they won't shut people off sometimes if they're reliable. I keep saying reliable, reliant on medical equipment, but I don't know if there's, in the event of an outage, if there's a way to say, hey, I have um, the air concentrator over here. Can you please hurry up? It's a bit of a shot in the dark, but does anybody know about anything like that?
I I do not. I was checking our guest list here. There is a young man, Trey, who's from DTE, but he has come to our meetings before, but I'm not seeing him here. Trey, are you out there? No. But he's from DTE. I don't know if he would have had the answer, but I just know that he's from DTE.
Okay, well, yeah,
But I
thanks
don't see
anyway.
him
And
there
I'll
today.
Trey, we might have met Trey here before, actually. I'm not sure. So
Yep,
see
yep.
if I can
Mhm,
reach out to Trey specifically.
mhm.
But thank you.
Yeah, and maybe, he can just be redirect you to someone who does know if he doesn't. But that's a great question. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I don't know how much control they have over that type
Right.
of.
And I mean, anyway, devices like this are common enough that it might be that there's like not really a way, every block has somebody, maybe, I don't know.
Hmm.
But so, yeah, thanks for listening.
Okay, anybody else want to share information about your program, updates? Okay. Well, you can always come back afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and move us into the next section of our meeting and share my screen. I'm going to talk about barrier busters. Okay. Move that there. Okay. So update on our funding. We don't have to spend too much time on this because it's as it was the same as last month. Here's what we have in our flexible fund. We always have the Ann Arbor Water Utility Fund. I do believe there is still some remaining funds left for the SCIP funding. So here's a link to the application, but you can, maybe I can get this link into the chat in case that's helpful. I'll put the link in the chat. So there's a little bit of SCIP funding that does require the HBS, Housing Bureau for Seniors, and their SCIP collaborative to approve before a barrier buster request can be put in. So it does require approval. We do have a little small amount of the Winter Housing Response Fund left. I expect that to be done in the next couple of weeks. So that one is running thin right now. What we do have in the pipeline, we still have them in the pipeline. I had hoped to have it ready for May, but the fund is not ready yet from Pittsfield Charter Township, and that will be a designated funding for Pittsfield Charter Township residents only. Now there were some delays, so now May, it should definitely be ready by middle May, maybe for June. So we can start using it in the end of May, June. And then what we have just recently, and what I'm going to move into talking about right now, is we have an opportunity. It was approached to me last week, so this was all very, very recent. I was offered approximately $140,000 of HUD CDBG funds to go to direct assistance for barrier busters. So we're going to try to make this happen, but it's going to be, there's some tricks to it. And so I'm going to go over some of that information, and then we're just going to see what we can do. We're going to try and spend as much of it down as we can. So that leads me to my next slide here. I'm going to go ahead and move that. So what you're looking here is about the CDBG fund. So in order to access these funds, it requires a training, and it requires somebody. So I want this to go out to all of our barrier busters, case managers that have a lot of experience putting in requests into barrier busters. It's going to be extra time, so you'll want to make sure, when I mean extra time, it's going to require a lot of extra documents. And so I have set up a document training sessions, 2 sessions for next week on the 27th at 11, and then again the 28th for 3 p.m. Here's a QR code. If you want to use your phone, you can use it right now to sign up if you're interested. So if this requires already barrier buster portal trained individuals who I would like to say, I'm looking for folks that are really good at attention to detail and are really consistent in accuracy. And the reason for that is because we only have, here's the big catch, we only have until May 28th to spend these dollars. And so it's a heavy lift on documentation. And so that's going to require that attention to detail and accuracy, working with the client, getting all the client information, and then submitting it to barrier busters in our process, because we won't have time to go back and forth asking for documents. And so it's going to be kind of a one-time thing. We want you to go in and put in requests, and we want everything there. So if you feel like this is you and you feel you're comfortable in the portal, and you're comfortable getting a lot of documents from clients, then join us for the training, and that's the QR code here, so you can sign up for the training. I'm going to go over all the documents required, and all the steps, and then that'll be an opportunity to ask questions and we can work through. So I don't expect everyone to want to be at this training to get the document and the information, but if you're up for it and you want to help us spend down this money in less than 30 days, then please sign up to see if we can do it. It's again 140,000, about that. We want it to go really quick. It'll follow our same barrier buster guidelines. Any housing will direct you to Hawk and the SOS pipeline. They will be also trained and know what to do to access these funds. And then for the rest of you, this fund will support our community members in their utility bills. Pretty much just their utility bills. I guess that's important to say and to write down in here. It's going to support utility, and that can be water utilities, DTE, consumers energy, those types of emergencies. But it will follow the $2,000, $3,000 cap, and pretty much all the rest of the 60% AMI and all of the other guidelines that Barrier Busters has. So I hope I see some of you in the training, and we see if we can get this money spent. Any questions on this that I can answer now? Okay.
Sorry, give me a second to reach my unmute button. So I'm just typing something out to my team about this right now. In terms of, you might have already said this, but what it's for, is it the same type of like housing related, barrier busters type stuff, or just so I can
Yeah,
tell them like what they should and shouldn't be
that's
putting
right.
on my desk for this?
That's right. So if it is housing, so if this money will cover eviction prevention and security deposits. Those requests will still be required to go through Hawk and SOS. So there's no change there. But if you have a client that is facing eviction, have them call Hawk and go through that channel for support, because these funds will support them. The next is that you can put in requests for is utilities. So it could be water utilities and DTE energy utilities. So consumers energy or DTE, water, wherever they are. So Yucca, you're in Ipsy, anywhere, any of the utility companies in Washtenaw County. So it's pretty much, I guess, housing and utilities.
Okay, thank you.
But it's something. And I know that when I am going through, and so what I'm doing is I'm trying to work this application process, because it is a heavy lift. I'm building the application right now, and I think I'm on page 6, and I still have several more pages to go. It's a lot of signatures. It's a lot of documentation, proof of income, IDs for everyone in the household. So there's a lot included, and that's why I'm kind of trying to target those that are really good and effective at getting all of the details right and all the documents from consumers. So it may not be for everyone. But what we want to just see if we can spend it down. It's almost a challenge. Can we spend down 140,000 in less than 30 days? I think we can. So I want to get this money out into the community, because we know the need is there. So so I'm going to go through this training, get those of you who want to in it, get you in on it, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Can I ask you one quick question?
Yeah.
You mentioned as far as the funding goes for security deposits, I was just curious, do you all ever help with any kind of pet deposits that go along with securing housing?
You know, it is not something that's it's not something that we've ever had. I think that it is probably something, if a case was made for it, we could probably do that. I do know those can be kind of pricey when it's that one-time amount. So yeah, we could probably include that into like housing. Sometimes people ask for the rental fee. So not the rental fee, the application fee. So it'd probably be along those lines. So yeah, that's just something we can talk about.
Thank
I have
you.
I have a quick question, Stacy. Based on the goal being to spend, this funding before the deadline, will there be any leniency around area median income?
Um, I think that we would probably have to look at the case by case, but they're pretty, when we're talking with the federal dollars, this is federal dollars, which is why we are requiring all the documents because we then have to provide, when we get audited every year for it. So I think, any flexibility in, you mean higher than 60% AMI?
So I have an individual who has previously been denied by Barrier Busters because of the combined income of the individual with their spouse.
Yeah.
However, they do have more people living in the home now. I do recognize that the expectation would be providing identity documents for all the people living there. But this is a person who's been precluded from gaining funding because of the combined income, and this seems like this might be an appropriate time to ask again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a feeling because they do, and that's part of this documentation is that um, we need income verification from all adults in the household, 18 and up. So even young adults, 18 and up. And so I have a feeling that that might still be the case. If that pushes above that 60% AMI, I think that might disqualify. I think if like I don't think this isn't going to be any different than what we typically do. So I think that is a challenge.
Thank you. I appreciate that. May I have your permission to try anyway?
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Melissa, you're asking, will car repairs be considered for this program? Oh, the link isn't working. You know why? It was that old one. That's right. I just got an updated on the link. Okay, so give me a minute and I can give you a better skip application or the skip application link. Will car repairs be considered? Not for these funds. These are very restricted, very specific types of funds. And so um, auto repair, any transportation type requests won't be allowable for these funds. Let me see if I can grab this. Oops, just closed it. And I just asked HBS staff for a new link because mine is not working. Try this one. Okay, any other questions for this funding or anything Barrier Buster related? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit stop record.